This is the story of a house in Burwood, the birthplace of one of the biggest selling rock bands of all time. ACDC stands unrivalled as Australia's highest selling musical act, with a global reach and acclaim that few bands in history can match. And it all began in Sydney's inner west, here at 4 Burleigh St in Burwood. For decades, this house stood as a testament to the humble origins of Australia's biggest cultural export, until it was demolished to make way for a high-rise development project, the latest casualty of Sydney's relentless property market. As an ACDC fan who was born in Sydney and has lived and worked here for most of my life, I was amazed to learn that the house the Young family settled in after emigrating from Scotland, home to Angus and Malcolm Young and their older brother George, founder of the Easy Beats, had been standing in the city I lived in all these years, operating as a medical practice. Why wasn't this place better known? Equally surprising to me was how many landmarks tied to the band's early years remained scattered across Sydney. Places I'd walked past 1,000 times, their connection to ACDC largely forgotten. So I came here to Burleigh St in Burwood in 2019 and just knocked on the front door, and I was invited in and I had a meeting with the owner and I expressed my excitement about being in this historic house, you know, the house that birthed Australia's greatest band. And also talked about maybe doing a video about the place. Before sending me on my way, he made two things very clear. One, he knew the potential value of the land that the house was sitting on. And two, he wasn't a fan of ACDC. Undeterred, I produced a video for the Sydney Morning Herald and The Age that explored this overlooked aspect of Sydney's heritage, which started with a strong focus on the house. I spoke to several members of ACDC's early lineups and asked them about their memories of the Young family home. You visited the Young house on several occasions?
Oh yeah, it was belovedly known as Burleigh Beach Casino. You know, the house had been the Young home since maybe the mid-60s, when the Easy Beats were happening in Australia. That's where the family were living. I remember Angus telling me a story that he was coming home from school one day. He would have been, I guess, you know, primary school. And the road was blocked off because all these girls found out where the Easy Beats were living, and then you can't go in there. He said, well, I live in there. He said, no, you know, on your way, so he had to go around the back street, hop over the back fence to get into his own place. So, yeah, there's some great stories. You walked in, Angus and Malcolm's room was on the right-hand side, but you walked out into an open area and the pool table out there. Very interesting nights playing poker there.
What's your memories of the house on Burleigh St, going there to practice?
The house was very welcoming, I must say. We used to have a great time. We'd just go there and do, you know, acoustic rehearsals, and then afterwards go out the back and play ping pong. And
every time you were there, you know, Angus would be in a room and he'd be practicing, because that's what he did, you know. If there was a guitar there, Angus had it and he'd be playing. It was all the time.
Do you remember him practicing guitar a lot?
all the time. When we turn up for rehearsal, he'd be lying on the bed. And when we finish, we'd go out, play ping pong, go back on the bed.
He knew his blues pentatonic very well, and he just got better at it.
In 2024, Burwood Council commissioned artist Claire Foxton to paint a mural of ACDC founders Angus and Malcolm Young on Burleigh St, just a few doors down from their former home. ACDC themselves acknowledged the mural, posting pictures of it, along with the old Young family home, on their website and social channels, celebrating it as the place where their journey began 50 years ago. The buzz around this new mural was an opportunity for me to ask the Mayor of Burwood, John Faker, if he'd seen my video about ACDC's overlooked Sydney roots.
So it was actually sent to me by a number of local residents who were quite surprised about the story. Not many people know that ACDC, this is their birthplace, and they lived here at 4 Burleigh St. And it's really important that we recognise some of our great cultural exports. And ACDC is probably the greatest one of those. So we want to ensure that people know that, they're part of our history, and they're cemented here as part of our culture.
The initiative to acknowledge ACDC was part of Burwood Council's campaign celebrating 150 years of Burwood. And among the official merchandise to mark the occasion are these items featuring the ACDC house. So considering that the people who were there at the time, Burwood Council and the band themselves have all acknowledged the historic importance of this house, not to mention that it was also listed on the National Trust Register of Historic Houses in 2013, how the hell did this happen?
Australia is the least affordable housing market in the English-speaking world.
Sydney taking second place on the podium among the most unaffordable cities to buy property in the world.
Sydney ranks the second least affordable housing market in the world, behind Hong Kong.
Sydney's full-blown housing crisis has been brewing for years. Back in 2012, Burwood Town Centre, including 4 Burleigh Street, was rezoned for high-rise mixed-use development to create more housing and businesses near transport hubs, in line with the city's plan to manage its growing population. Aware of the site's history, Burwood Council commissioned an independent heritage review of the house in 2015. The review assessed the house against several criteria, including historical, aesthetic, and social significance. And here was the conclusion.
The property fails to meet the significance assessment criteria due to its modest architectural value and brief period of associational attributes with ACDC. As such, it is not considered to be significant enough historically to be relevant to the life and work of the band.
The report commissioned by Burwood Council did strongly recommend, however, that a plaque be placed on the footpath in front of the house, which is council property. And this was never done. And so in 2023, this dilapidated 3-bedroom house on a 260 metre squared lot with no identifying feature linking it to the Young family and ACDC, sold to property developer Burwood Square Proprietary Limited for a staggering $5.8 million. That amount of money could fetch you a 16-bedroom castle in Scotland and still leave you with $1 million in change. And I'm not even joking. With the adjacent properties also snatched up, work will soon begin on a 38-storey high-rise set to dominate Burwood's skyline. 4 Burleigh Street was bulldozed in December 2024. The backlash was immediate. Burwood Council issued the following statement.
Approval to demolish the property at 4 Burleigh Street was not granted by Burwood Council. The owner, under state government planning controls, engaged a private certifier authorised to issue a complying development certificate, requiring only 2 days' notice to council before demolition works commence.
With word spreading around the world, shocking ACDC's global fan base, Leon Comita, General Manager of Burwood Square Proprietary Limited, prepared the following statement.
On behalf of the team at Burwood Square, I want to convey our heartfelt regret that we have only just learnt of the cultural significance of 4 Burleigh Street, the former home of ACDC, one of music history's most iconic bands. We now recognise how deeply this location resonates with the ACDC community and fans worldwide. As we developed plans for this space, we conducted due diligence, including consulting heritage registers and collaborating with experts in the field. Unfortunately, the historical connection to ACDC was not identified at that stage, and we regret that the previous long-term owner did not share this vital part of the property's background with us. We are genuinely sorry for this oversight. Learning about this connection after our plans were already underway has shocked us.
Burwood Square Proprietary Limited have said they will seek to work with the Young family and ACDC fans to incorporate some form of commemoration into their development.
I don't know, I just feel like it's a tragedy. I don't understand how something like this can be knocked down.
I think it's devastating, not only for ACDC fans, but Easy Beats fans as well with George Young, and especially the impact that their music has had worldwide.
To come and see their actual house where they grew up, practiced, played, is never to be around again is just devastating.
So what are we to make of all this? There's plenty of blame to go around. The previous owner, who sold the house for $5.8 million, without, according to the purchasing developer, disclosing its history. The council, which didn't act on advice to place a plaque on the site. The developer, who hastily demolished a building on a street that made headlines 8 months ago for having a huge commemorative ACDC mural painted just a few metres away. And maybe some of the blame lies at the feet of Sydney itself, a city that stopped rocking out decades ago, in favour of selling any block of land to the highest bidder.
Would Angus and Malcolm go and stay there whenever you guys were in Sydney?
Absolutely. They couldn't wait to get there. They wanted to be back there. Yeah. A typical Scots household, very open, and definitely the place to be on a New Year's Eve.
Did Bon enjoy the Scottish hospitality?
Absolutely. It was like a second home to him, yeah.